Hi, everybody. I am so excited to be checking in with you guys today. And this episode is going to be focused on helping you get happier when you're ready to ask for help, when you're looking to have more support in your life, in your business. And so I'm going to share with you 4 questions I ask myself before I hire a new coach or make an investment into expanding my team. And hopefully this will be helpful for you as you step into your next levels and grow and expand your support team and get help in ways that are exciting and feel good to you, instead of having it turn into something that can feel like a waste of time or a waste of money or lead to disappointment, not getting what you actually want. So without further ado, the first step, the first question I ask myself is what do I want this support to look like and feel like? And this is really important because I have to be aware of what are the end results. What's the return on investment, the ROI, from hiring a new coach or a team member? And return on investment can be financial. It can also be freeing up a certain number of hours in my week. It can also be taking things off my plate that I don't want to be responsible for, things I don't like doing. For example, having a housekeeper is a non-negotiable in my life. And so the return on investment for me is not just the hours it saves me from doing those chores, but how much it's the quality of life I have, not having to do certain chores and tasks that I don't want to do. I don't like doing them. So this part can be really fun, especially when you just start getting curious about really envisioning what is that end result going to look like? How's it going to impact your schedule? How's it going to impact your energy? How's it going to impact your finances, right? So you want to get clear on that. And these 4 questions, they don't have to take a long time, but it is a practice of slowing down a little bit in order to speed up. So you want to take the time to ask yourself these questions and save yourself the headache and disappointment down the road of making hiring decisions based out of a place of overwhelm or panic. The second question I ask myself is, what are the gaps that I'm trying to fill? So that requires that I'm very aware of what are my strengths, where's my zone of genius, and looking for what are the gaps in my life or my business that this support will provide help with. And so, for example, one of the assessment tools I use with my clients, and I also use with team members that I hire, is the Colby Assessment, and understanding, like, I'm a 4294. So I'm a quick start, big time, and I need support in, I'm not very detail oriented. So not that that's bad about me, it's just not my strength. So when for example, I'm currently looking for a new assistant right now, and someone being detail oriented according to their Colby score is going to be a good match for the type of entrepreneur that I am. We're just coming up on 6 months pregnant, which I'm very excited about. And so I know another support position I'm looking to fill in my life right now is having someone come to the house, like a part-time nanny position. Once I fill my calendar with coaching again, I'm going to want someone in the house to be on baby Perry duty. And again, knowing what kind of person, what are the gaps there that I'm going to want filled, and knowing how I want to feel while I'm being supported is going to make it so easy to recognize the right person when they come along. The third question I like to ask myself is, what am I going to need to communicate in order to make sure that we're both on the same page about positive expectations? And again, this part, so many people skip over it, and it ends up costing a lot of money and energy when you try to do this after the fact. And so when you have, what are the positive expectations? When you can communicate that in a very clear way, that might look like a job description. Or, for example, when I hire a coach, I like to be very clear about, here's how I like to be supported. I know personally I like one-on-one access to my coaches. I also, when I consciously invest in hiring a coach, I have very clear, here's who I want to be on the other side. I'd like to increase my income by this much, or I'd like to be this much happier with my life. I'd like to get here without burning myself out. So what are those positive expectations, and getting clear with that, so that when you communicate, right, to the person. So we've already done step one. What is that support going to look like and feel like for you? Question number 2 is, what are the gaps so you want to really have gotten clear on what is the gap in your own zone of genius that's going to be filled by this support person. And then number 3, what are the very clear expectations? So now that might, again, I feel like I just totally lost my train of thought. Because I feel like I already said it might look like a job description. If I didn't say that, it might look like a job description. And if I'm repeating myself, then we're just going to keep moving on. So the fourth and final question that I ask myself is, what are any potential deal breakers? And how am I going to troubleshoot any obstacles that might come up along the way? And so, again, using the example of hiring an assistant. I know I need that detail-oriented person who's really good with follow-through. So for me, a deal breaker would be if my assistant says they're going to do something by a certain time and it's not done. I might not notice it right away, because that's why I hired them. Is I need someone that's not going to let that slip through the cracks. And so that would be a potential deal breaker in an assistant relationship for me. And as far as like in a coaching relationship, if my coach was canceling sessions all the time, I don't have time for that. That might be a deal breaker for me in this situation. And so when you get clear on what are your deal breakers, again, it saves you so much headache. It helps you be happy, right? Happier Lives Tribe. Like, it helps you be happy in the process of consciously choosing who to bring onto your team, how much that's worth to you, so you know what the investment is and what the return on investment is expected to be. And it also helps whoever steps into that support role in your life, it allows them to be happier in the dynamics as well, because they know what to expect. They know, oh, here's what I'm expected to do. Here's a potential deal breaker. Here's the here's the value I'm going to add to this person's life and business. And that's where it comes down to, I'd say, like bonus tip that I would share with you guys today around making hiring decisions for a coach or for a support team. To me, I mean, I think of my coaches as part of my business team. So to me, they're not really different. But a bonus around this is considering that that shared values are really important to have good, healthy, happy experiences for everyone involved. But shared values doesn't mean that they have to be the same personality or be good at the same things as you. In fact, that's part of question number 2, where you get really clear on what are your strengths and what are your gaps, and then you want ultimately that the gaps that you have would be their strengths. And it's really amazing how, once you separate that, it's not about being right or wrong, it's not about being good or bad, it's about honoring that our differences can totally complement each other when we consciously choose how we create these relationships with support people in our lives. And that ultimately, like, shared values that's a great bonus conversation to look for. So if you know what your values are, and you can bring that into all of these conversations as you're sharing what your answers are to the 4 questions. But my best advice to you would be to take the time, slow down, answer these 4 questions And then once you have your answers, it's going to fast track, it's going to speed you up to find the right people. And you're going to know when you found the right person, when you found the right coach or the right team member. And it's going to be very exciting and an empowered decision and choice that you make, and ultimately serve you to be as happy as possible, not just in this decision, but in the experience that you have as you continue with that person. So that's my ramblings for you today, my Happier Lives tribe. And so until next time, unfluff yourself. Remember, happy is an inside job, and go be the best you can be. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.